What's up, guys? It's Ben with the Hookup Tackle. If you've been drop shotting at all over the last decade, chances are you've been throwing some American-made staples like the Roboworm, Zoom Finesse Worm. But if you're ready to elevate your game and get into some JDM soft plastics, it can really increase your bites, increase your enjoyment. And today we are going to break down our top 10 favorite JDM soft plastic drop shot baits so that you can catch more fish. So if you're ready, let's go. So chances are by now you guys have brought the drop shot into your arsenal, and it's something that you utilize maybe on a daily basis, like if you live out here on the West Coast where it's just a staple, or maybe it's something that you guys utilize to pick up an extra bite or two. Today we're going to try to break down some unusual JDM plastics that you may or may not be aware of so that you can increase that bite ratio and get some extra bites in the boat. So we're going to start with kind of a worm shape, and this is one of our favorites. This is a new worm from Deps Japan. It's called the Canku Air. Now, the Canku Air is a soft plastic worm that has little pockets in the back tail that trap air. And what that air does is it allows the worm to stay in a horizontal fashion. So as it falls, it's going to fall horizontally. If you work this worm rather aggressively, it has a great, beautiful kind of dart, like a side-to-side dart, and then on the paws, it just has that little side shimmy where it just kind of shimmies down. It's got just a very subtle little kind of flick tail on the back of it there that just gives it just a little bit of a quiver, but it's a subtle, different look, just something different. Then every once in a while that air in the back of those tails will just kind of release and you'll get little bubbles that pop off of it. So straightforward yet different, right? Which is what Deps is great at. So if you guys like throwing a worm style soft plastic, the Deps Canku Air can be a great one for you. Next in the lineup is a bait that we've talked about a lot here and it's been out for quite some time, and that's the Reins Bubblin' Shaker. Now the Bubblin' Shaker comes in a bunch of different sizes, anywhere from a 3-inch all the way to a 10-inch, so you can really fine-tune your approach and use whatever size bait you want to use. Now what's unique about the Reins is that it's a full kind of zipper worm. It's a full ribbed body, so it again kind of traps this air inside that will release over time. The other thing with the Reins Bubblin' Shaker is this is a super floater plastic. So this worm is going to be very buoyant, it's going to stand upright, and then as you shake, it's got a lot of motion to it. So think of every one of these ribs as kind of like a spine, right? So it's designed to move in any direction effortlessly. So as you shake the rod tip, if you're giving it more, action like this, the worm is just going to pulsate and undulate under the water and really give you a beautiful natural look. If you're looking for something that you can kind of keep in one place and then just continue to shake to where the worm just really quivers and elevates so you can really maximize the time that your bait is in the strike zone around those fish, the Reins Bubblin' Shaker is a great one to consider. Staying in the worm category, Megabass makes a bait called the Tournament Crawler. Now the Tournament Crawler is actually designed to be more of a Neko rig bait, but it's a great one on a drop shot as well, again, when you want that worm to have that kind of horizontal fall. Only this one's a lot more dense. It's full of salt and flavor. It's got a unique kind of bulbous tail on the back end of it that just quivers very slightly. So this is a great one when you just need to kind of shake and lift and then let it fall, and it's just going to kind of quiver down and fish more around the bottom. This worm is great for just kind of laying there and then just small little shakes give it just a very, very subtle action. Okay, so when those fish are feeding on craws, or sculpin, or things that are down on the bottom, and you need something with just a ton of action on very little movement, the Tournament Crawler is a great one to consider. All right, next up is one of my favorites for drop shotting, especially for smallmouth. If you guys are drop shotting smallmouth, you definitely want to add this into your arsenal. This is the OSP Doe Live Stick. Now again, the Doe Live Stick is available in all kinds of sizes, anywhere from 3-inch, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 6. I mean, you can go all the way up to different sizes. Now the Doe Live Stick was originally designed to be kind of like a Senko fluke hybrid, right? So if you notice, it's kind of a solid body and then it has kind of like a flukish tail. Doe Live Stick originally was designed to kind of throw weightless or wacky rig and kind of fall like a Senko. and then you can twitch it and it acts like a fluke. But this small size, this 3-inch size, is an amazing drop shot bait. You can dart it, you can shake it, and that tail just kind of quivers in the back there. And it's just a very non-intrusive, small profile, natural bait. It's full of flavor, full of salt. It's got everything that, you know, a smallmouth or a largemouth is looking for. And it's just a fish slayer. It's available in a ton of colors, so you can really fine tune and mix and match what you need to match, okay? So that's the 3-inch OSP Doe Live Stick. Definitely a nose hook presentation, and it is a beautiful one underwater. Another unique one, again from Deps. This is the Deps Deathadder. Now, if you've hung around my Instagram channel, you've heard me talk about the Deathhatter before. This is our favorite chatterbait trailer. If you guys are throwing a jackhammer, you're throwing, you know, whatever chatterbait you guys are throwing, if you're looking to tighten up the motion, this is an amazing trailer. And the main reason is you'll notice that it just has this small little quiver here. So as that jackhammer and blade is moving, it just tightens up the motion versus something like a swim bait or a Zocco or something like that. The Deathhatter also makes a very unique drop shot bait. And the reason for that is it's kind of a flat shape. Okay, so it's tall on the sides, but it's skinny at the same time, and it has this little quiver tail on the back. So as you shake it, it has a very natural bait fish look to it. You can dart it around, it looks like a dying shad. It's gonna have that little spiral fall, so you just kind of shake it and then give it a little pop and let it fall, and it just kind of spirals like a dying bait fish would. So if your fish are feeding on a lot of bait, whether it's shad or whatever the bait fish or forage species in your neck of the woods is, this is a great one to put on the bottom and just shake and kind of just give it a pop so that it just kind of spirals down. Very natural. Ton of colors, so you can mix and match depending on your water clarity. That is the Deps Deathhatter. The 4-inch size is the main size that I like for the drop shot, so check that dude out. Next up is a very unique one, and this is from a company called Exactcraft, and this is a bait that they call the Wake Bee. Now I know what you're thinking. It looks like a pile of poo in a bag. And we have actually nicknamed this bait the poo worm, all right? But what all that goo is inside of there is a special proprietary like power bait type scent. It's just ground up and crushed and fermented craws and shrimp and fish, and they give this bait an incredibly powerful scent. Now, the Wake Bee is a very unique shaped bait for a nose hook drop shot. It's got a big bulb on the back here that traps the scent and just kind of shakes and pushes water. So as you're shaking the bait, that bulb is back there just kind of giving a push, and those fish feel that whoosh, whoosh from the tail. So it's just a different look, right? You're mixing it up, you're showing them something that they're not used to seeing, and it's just a great option. Comes in a bunch of colors, some bright colors for sight fishing, some more natural colors like green pumpkins and stuff for throwing out when the fish needs something more natural, okay? So again, that's the Exactcraft Wake Bee, all right? Next up in the lineup, and we're gonna start bridging the gap here and getting into more like minnow-shaped baits, okay? Now, I know we said JDM, and this next company is technically a Canadian company, but I still consider it JDM, and that's Nishine Lure Works. Now, this is their drop shot minnow, and it's an amazing one. They're all hand poured. You can see that they come in the shape of a minnow. And what's nice about this is that because it's hand poured, it's very soft. You can see how soft it is. So with a light little rod shake, it just has this beautiful little tail quiver on the end. You know, out of the package, it doesn't look that fancy, but when you see this guy in the water and you see how lifelike it is, with just a little bit of rod shake, that bait literally just swims just like a shad or a minnow or whatever forage species you're trying to imitate. So if you're looking for an incredibly lifelike minnow type imitation on your drop shot, Nishine delivers with their drop shot minnow, okay? All right, the next bait I want to talk about is from ISM. That's an acronym for Infinite Seed Makers, and this is the Floterus. Now, the Floterus was originally designed to be a fluke style bait, but we find that this 3.5-inch size is money when the fish are feeding on bait fish, and again, especially if you guys are fishing for smallmouth, they make some great colors that smallmouth really respond to. You'll notice it has a unique shaped tail back here. It's got a dual directional tail that allow it to just quiver and have a lot of motion to it. And again, this is a bait that you want to shake under the water. So you just want to give your rod tip a little bit of shake and then just kind of swim it in a straight direction and just allow it to kind of quiver and look natural under the water. So again, ISM Flaterris, 3.5-inch size. Give it a look. All right, now staying in that profile bait, Duo makes a great one. This is called the Realist Vtail Shad. Now, Vtail Shad is available in a 3-inch and a 4-inch size. Vtail Shad is unique in that it has a flat back and then kind of a rounded belly, and it has a V tail to it. And what that does, it allows the bait to have some up and down quiver, but it also allows it to have a great aggressive darting motion on your drop shot. So, you know, when fish are really active and they're chasing bait and they're looking for something moving quickly, but they're not really responding to your swim bait or your lipless or your jerk bait, throwing the Vtail Shad on a drop shot can be a great way just to get an extra bite or two. Fish it more aggressively, let the bait really dart and move and do its thing. So just kind of quick, straightforward little hops, maybe some little shakes, and then hop, and then just keep moving that bait and letting it dart around, okay? All right. Staying in a minnow profile bait is a standard for a lot of guys, but a lot of guys are still just learning about this thing, and this is the Megabass Hazedong Shad. Now, the 3-inch size was designed for drop shot. I know what you're thinking, like, it's a swim bait, it's not a drop shot worm. But this was actually designed to be a drop shot swim bait. So with the Hazedong Shad, you're gonna see you get a nice little finessey profile. It's very thin, yet tall. And it has a very finesse tail to it. So yes, you can absolutely use this as a swim bait. And a lot of guys do. They'll put it on their Okashira head, they'll put it on a little ball head, and you get just a really nice, tight swim motion out of it. It works the same way on the drop shot. Put a little nose hook on it, cast it out, and this is gonna be more of just a straight drag, and then wind in the slack. And as you drag, that tail is just gonna swim, and you basically are just presenting a swim bait a foot off the bottom, or 18 inches off the bottom, or however long you make your drop shot leader. So if they're feeding on bait, and again, they're not getting aggressive on your swim bait retrieves, on your jerk bait retrieves, try doing a drop shot swim bait, and you're gonna be surprised. You're gonna catch a ton of fish on this dude, okay? Our last one is one of our favorites from OSP. This is the HP Minnow. Now, the HP Minnow comes in a couple different sizes, 3.1 inch, 3.7 inch, so you can match the forage however you want to. It comes in a ton of colors, both very natural and bright. Smallmouth guys love the brighter colors like the pinks and the chartreuses, but what makes the HP Minnow so unique is OSP wanted to create a bait that had this amazing tail action back here. And the reason it gets that tail action is because it's actually hollow in the middle. Right, so all the HP minnows you can actually open up, and there's a slit in there. And what that does is it allows the worm to move in a way that's just incredibly natural without being stuck in just like one big chunk of plastic. The HP Minnow also works great as a finesse swim bait, something on the back of a little ball head or an Okashira head, something like that. But on the drop shot, with just a very, very subtle shake, that tail just sits up and quivers, and it's a floating plastic, so it has beautiful buoyancy in the water. All right, guys, so that is our top 10 favorite soft plastic JDM drop shot baits. I hope it was informative. I know if you guys add these into your arsenal, you're gonna catch more fish, you're gonna have a great time, and you can really fine tune your drop shot approach. If you have any questions, shoot me a comment down below. If you're interested in checking out any of these baits, we're gonna put links in the description down below so you guys can check them out. So until next time, thank you very much. Peace out.